This program is brought to you by the Government Communication and Information System. Sawubona Mzansi Africa, igama lami Busisiwe Gumede-Chizhanje, and I'm your host tonight khona ku Citizens Connect ku SABC 2. Namhlanje sihlola umsebenzi oyenzwa at the Nuclear Medicine Research Infrastructure, eyibhilidi ke elidura kakhulu that is valued at 80 million rands, but it's been touted to be the future of South Africa's nuclear medicine. Don't just take my word for it. Zibonele ngokwakho.
I'm Mike Satehe, the professor and head of nuclear medicine, heading the university side as well as the nuclear medicine research infrastructure and the hospital. So this department, Nuclear Medicine Research Infrastructure, it's a national institute, it's a national facility that is funded by the Department of Science and Innovation.
So the Nuclear Medicine Research Infrastructure is involved in research and innovation, as well as drug development. So the whole point is that you want to synthesize a drug that is able to target a cancer molecule within the body. So if we can produce something that can actually sit on the cancer cells and then irradiate those cancer cells, shrink them, and then get rid of them, then we are winning.
We have done some of the isotopes that we are trying to see. Can we see TB? Re khona go bona TB before in na TB e leng gore e gaketse e tlo go gatella molwetse go botlhokwa gore re itse gore tuberculosis ga ile teng re ka e bona gore e mo mafatleng le leketse dingwe gape go e ka tsweng e le go teng le gona le gore ditlhare di bereka sentle na ka gore go e treat e le gore a o e treat feleletse sentle, so then it will e ka nna ya go nna worse and then e ka bolala molwetse. So those kind of things we're doing at the facility as well.
This new facility brings us closer to the hospital and our clinical patients. So this new facility also acts as a hub for potential researchers looking to test new pharmaceutical drugs for cancer treatment, where they can enroll in preclinical studies, which will then proceed over into clinical trials that can be used to treat human patients.
And our aim basically is to improve on the current status of radiopharmacy in Africa, and the products that we produce, we aim to be able to ship them or distribute around the continent. And we also welcome students all over the continent as well as researchers to collaborate with us in this endeavor.
As you've seen with the building, we've got 3 levels mainly. We've got the first level, which is called the preclinical level, where we use animal testing. And then the next level is radiopharmacy, where we do production of radiopharmaceuticals. And then the 6th level is a clinical level, where it depicts a clinic in nuclear medicine. And that's where we have all our patients, similar to the clinic that we've shown you at Steve Biko Academic Hospital.
Unique is all of this to be in one roof. And them being in one roof, of course, it makes us to be unique. So now we come to the clinical side. The clinical side is going to be exactly where we're treating the patients after everything has been shown to be working. And of course, this is just office spaces. That's fine. The patient, some of them will wait here and some of the guests. And then on you will come this way.
We got before too much.
Yeah.
So the Nuclear Medicine Research Infrastructure is really research, innovation, and teaching. So it's an open collaboration platform, starting here in our country, but also extending towards the continent, and we hope to be a global player in research to the rest of the world.
These nuclear medicine procedures are very expensive. They are highly, an average person cannot actually afford to have the exposure of these kind of procedures. So having nuclear medicine research infrastructure as a key will actually help to actually diagnose cancer and actually be able to cure it using our therapeutic pharmaceuticals.
The new building of NUMERI for us is a new phase in radiopharmacy. Basically, this will allow radiopharmacy to stand out and show its role within the nuclear medicine field, where a number of radiopharmacy students that are coming from the different schools of pharmacy in the country who can come and practice, do some of their research, and also just get to see, and maybe in the future, maybe we could do rotations for them to come and have experiential learning.
Also, we work with the commercial partners. It's important that what we do, as I said, commercialization of research is important, and then of course, which means the product that we do, we want to see them registered, we want to see them accessible, available, and affordable to the people. So in this regard, for instance, we work with local pharmaceutical industry in the country, NTP, Exim, pet labs, and there are various other new ones that are coming. But internationally, we work with other multinational industries such as Point Biopharm, such as Novartis. So when you do multinational trials, is to see that what you produce here and or what is worked here, then you can actually translate it into what is indeed verifiable, and then of course it's a product. So the multinational industry and actors, it's very important.
Plenty of innovation that is happening at this state-of-the-art building. But how does it stand to benefit you at home? That and more when we return. Usabugele is Citizens Connect, Konalago SABC2. I am super excited, Namhlanje, because we continue to reflect on the work that is being done by NUMERI, that is the Nuclear Medicine Research Infrastructure. A lot of innovation eyenzakala khona. So yimi engiphethe iki as a technology namhlanje. Ngiphethe amadoda who are championing all of this work and bazosichazela kabanzi ngokuthi yini kahle kahle eyenzakala khona lapho. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome. Prof, I'll start with you. Please just explain to us what's the reason of having this cutting-edge institute, especially for our country?
Thank you so kindly for this opportunity. So it is important that when we speak about having sustainable economy, it must be technology-backed. We must have the skill that even if, for instance, some of our minerals go down, we can still leverage on our economy, our knowledge to actually take the country forward. So the Department of Science and Innovation has come up with what we call the South African Research Infrastructure Roadmap across various sectors, and health is one of those, in nuclear medicine, so that we can have actually the skill of the people that can do research from the beginning to the end and have a finished product, a product that will be used for saving lives, a product that will actually be used for generating income.
And let's talk about that. Where are the avenues to make money? Or to even save money, as Prof was talking about?
Yeah, right. Let me take one drug that is used for breast cancer, and most people will be familiar with it. This drug will easily cost about R500,000 per woman, right?
Per patient?
Per patient.
Right.
For full treatment, right? UNI is accepting. So I'll talk about it, right? So you and I will know that we don't know many women that will be able to afford that if they find themselves in that kind of trouble. Now, what nuclear medicine is able to do, and we are at very advanced stages of research in terms of solving this problem, is drop that cost from that ridiculous R500,000 to something more affordable. And how do we do it? We do it because we are able to optimize how the active is actually delivered to the problem side. And we are empowered to do this by sheer view of the fact that we combine very unique capabilities to solve a real problem.
Is this something that's already happening or it's still on trial?
Let me take a step back. So nuclear medicine is what I would ordinarily refer to as sovereign national technological capabilities. In short, it's there, right?
Okay.
The country, South Africa that is, ranks easily among top 5 producers of products, radiochemicals, which are utilized in this specialized area of science and medicine. So we are already a global superpower, right? If you look at the volume of product coming out of our country, out of our factories, going into the global trading space. We serve easily close to 60 countries on a weekly basis with these specialized products, solving big health problems. So in short, it's there. However, there's so much more that you can do with it. For all the things that we are talking about, right, to say that, okay, we are a global superhouse in nuclear medicine, the next logical question is, what do you have to show for it? Now, in the main, if you look at the value chain, we dominated some of the earlier parts of the value chain, right? And when we say that we rank amongst the top 5 producers, that is more on the earlier part of the value chain. We realize that for us to grow and grow in a big way, we mustn't keep on, we can't grow by keeping on doing more of what we've always been doing. We decided to move across the value chain to where returns are much higher. And this is where Numeri is a catalyst. Numeri is that vehicle that takes us from where we were comfortable and dominant to a space where we're not dominant yet, but with Numeri we can become the next big source of radiopharmaceuticals.
But what are the challenges that stand to hinder this growth and development that is coming out of Numeri?
I think Mr. Mpahlele and of course DSI, Department of Health and the country has realized that yes, there is standard growth in what could be actually already benefiting the people, hence the development of Numeri. So I do think it's the lack of also how we actually have done it. Earlier on you asked about how does it differ with the other fields of medicine.
Yes.
But when you train as an MD, as a doctor, you actually are not necessarily taken through nuclear medicine thoroughly. So you barely have an idea about its role and its importance, and therefore, like as it would be expected, you wouldn't utilize nuclear medicine fully if you actually don't know. So that awareness and information, first of all, the education about it will be an important aspect that will actually unlock, of course, the growth, because clearly people need to know what are its advantages and of course its disadvantages, so that if we can get that out of it, it's fine. But also the education and awareness that the fact that it sounds nuclear, it's not to be scared of as well, and it should be something that we should embrace. It's the good uses of nuclear. We're not speaking about the bombs, and it's actually the radiation that is very good and necessary. And in all of it, it's really done within its spectrum of the requisite dose, and then of course the time that it would be needed to do its job.
And where to from here then, as we wrap up this conversation?
Where to from here, it's to see a lot of products that will be proudly South African, started from A to Z, manufactured here, and then being global, exported globally, and that will be great. That's really, and that's feasible, that's coming. But where to as well is to actually train as many people as possible, not only for the country but also to assist the continent in terms of training a lot of colleagues, so that this is actually seen as part and parcel of routine and not seen as a by the way. So and then of course that would be important for us. And then where to as well is to see South Africa together with the Atomic Energy Agency taking the lead in doing this.
Sure, us spearheading it. And on the commercial side, sir?
Right. In a nutshell, so we have a big role to play in demystifying nuclear technology, right? That's important going forward. And secondly, we've got a big role to play in raising awareness around economic opportunities which come with unique capabilities like nuclear medicine. Because if we do that and do it well, we will be able to raise investments. Because TIA on its own will not be able to fill the gap. It's just too much for an organization. But in closing, we have to have a way of drawing top talent in this niche area that Mike spoke to so eloquently. And for that, we rely on the likes of you, ma'am.
And that's what I'm doing. So do not go anywhere. You're still watching Citizens Connect, Konalagu SABC2, still unraveling more about this technology with people who are spearheading, but most importantly, supporting in nuclear medicine research infrastructure. Ungayindawo, back with more after this. Welcome back to Citizens Connect, Konalagu SABC2. Sisakuluma about the innovation that is happening at the nuclear medical research infrastructure. Of course, earlier on, we learned about the importance of having such technology, especially in the medical field in our country. Godwa, what does it look like for the future? And joining me in studio is Dr. Phil Mjwaha, who's the DG at the Department of Science and Innovation. Baba Sibonga Iskatsaka, thank you so much for coming. What is the importance, Baba, of helping, supporting facilities like this?
Well, maybe let me take a step back as to what do we do as a Department of Science and Innovation. We provide resources for two things. The first is for scientists to have infrastructure and tools for them to do research. So research is about understanding how the world works. That's broadly what it is. The second objective is to find out, Tuguti, if that research has applications to help society or to grow the economy. We then expect the scientists to work with us in solving societal problems as well as to grow the economy. So hopefully that gives you a broad sense of who we are as a department. So within that context, then we provide money to institutions for the infrastructure in the nuclear field. South Africa has always been in the nuclear field even before 1994, as we all know, with the reactor that is sitting at Nexta. But we also have been investing in research infrastructure at a place called Itemba Labs in Cape Town. So the work that we have been doing, therefore, with the NUMERI, the nuclear medicine research infrastructure, was to then make resources available for them to have the instrument that they need for using nuclear techniques to treat cancer patients. So that's where the partnership comes from, and that's where our role comes in.
Abantu abaningi mabezwa lelo gama elithi nuclear medicine, immediately they think it's probably something bad. What has been sort of the feeling around it, and is there a shift even in the medical world about what it really stands for and the benefits that it stands to give to South Africans?
So anyone who is afraid that nuclear is going to make yourself worse, it's actually the contrary of that. And I'm going to give you a sample of numbers. In the facility that we have in Cape Town, it's called cyclotron. This is the one that produces then these isotopes, as we call them, for diagnosis. We are the third in the world in terms of producing and exporting these, and they're used worldwide. In South Africa, we generate about 100 million rands per annum in producing these isotopes. And because we have provided additional money to the NUMERI facility, and it will be dedicated to the production of these materials that are called radioisotopes, we expect that money to increase fourfold in the next 5 to 10 years. So every year the country will get 400 million rands because of the exports of these useful diagnostic material that we produce.
If this technology, as you say, has been around for years and we're seeing the benefits, does that mean that there's a lack of awareness about what it is and the benefits and where it's being implemented? Because for some, they're surely hearing it for the first time.
Maybe we haven't done good marketing, but for those cancer patients that have had the opportunity to go to the hospital, as I said, at the moment is Steve Biko, that's where we are. We hope we'll be able to treat more patients, and we hope we can engage with the Department of Health. In fact, we have started to engage with the Department of Health to say, let's look at the numbers of cancer patients that could be treated. We're looking at the expansion of this in partnership with the private sector.
10 years ago, I don't think this would have happened. Nuclear medicine wouldn't have been easily on TV, so I'm glad that SABC took a keen interest in this. And I'm glad that people like Prof. Max Atere are given the platform to showcase what they're doing. Because what we have literally can become the next source of growth for the country. And I must add that, there's an interface of business, science, and politics. On the politics side, I must credit Prof for having raised the profile of nuclear medicine to a point where it is now one of the resolutions of the BRICS, as it was held last year in this country.
My takeaway from it is, and what I'm excited about, is the diagnosis aspect of it, because kunabantu abaningi ekhaya who are sick and not necessarily knowing what is wrong with them. But what would you like the viewers to take away from this?
I'd like them to take away the fact that in government there is somebody who's worrying about what the society and the problems that the society has, and how the knowledge that government invests in can help solve the problem of society. So that's who we are. In this case, in this discussion that you and I have had, we said as government we invest in infrastructure, we train scientists to develop tools that can be used to treat patients that have got certain cancers in a way that their lives are better beyond that.
So our wish is that nuclear medicine is can fela go to university hospitals. It's in regional hospitals that will actually help for every kapela lo hore balwetsi ba be le access ko ona kapela.
Thank you so much, Bob, for your time. We appreciate it. Of course, you've been watching Citizens Connect. You can, of course, send us your comments on what you thought about today's topic. Of course, we were speaking to experts, doctors in the field, just giving us a sense of where we are in as far as innovation is concerned. That's all the time that we have for tonight in terms of discussing this. Get those comments rolling on social media. See you next time.